Volcanoes are beautiful from a safe distance, but they can also be deadly. Many individuals have seen footage or pictures of volcanoes, but may be unaware that volcanic explosions occur underwater. What exactly is an undersea volcano? What causes it, and how might it affect you on land? We offer you alarming findings scientists have uncovered concerning underwater supervolcanoes in this video. Few things are more spectacular than a volcanic eruption. They cannot be stopped or avoided, but what exactly is a volcano and how does it erupt? Let's have a look at some fascinating geography. Many mountains are formed by Earth's crust breaking, faulting, uplifting, and erosion. Volcanic terrain, on the other hand, is formed by the gradual build-up of erupting lava. At the peak of a cone or shield-shaped mountain, the vent may be apparent as a tiny bowl-shaped depression. The vent connects to one or more connected storage places of molten or particularly molten rock or magma via a network of fissures within and beneath the volcano. Because of this connection to fresh magma, the volcano can erupt again in the same spot. As a result, the volcano expands until it is no longer stable. Volcano fragments collapse as rock falls or landslides. Magma is molten rock that emerges from under the Earth's surface through volcanic vents. However, when a volcano erupts, it turns into lava. Magma is composed of molten rock, crystals, and dissolved gas. Imagine an unopened bottle of soda with sand inside. The molten rock is composed of the chemicals oxygen, silicon, aluminium, iron, magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium, titanium, and manganese. After cooling, molten lava can solidify and create igneous or magmatic rock by forming crystals of different minerals. Magma, which originates many tens of miles beneath the ground, is lighter than the surrounding solid rock. It is propelled towards the Earth's surface by buoyancy, as well as pressure from the gas contained within it. Magma pushes upward and may eventually break through weak spots in the Earth's crust. If this is the case, an eruption will follow. Magma may erupt in a variety of ways. As fluid lava flows, molten rock occasionally steams out the vent. It can also fire dense clouds of rock fragments or tephra and gas into the air. Larger fragments fall back around the vent, and tephra clouds may be carried down the volcano's slope by gravity. Ash, small bits of tephra the thickness of a strand of hair, may be carried by the wind only to fall to the ground many kilometers distant. The tiniest ash particles can be ejected miles into the air and blown several times around the world by high-altitude winds before falling to the ground. So how many volcanoes do we have? In the United States alone, the US Geology Survey, USGS, tracks approximately 160 active and potentially dangerous volcanoes. There are around 1,350 potentially active volcanoes on the planet. In the last 100 years, almost 500 of them have erupted. Many of these are located in what is known as the Ring of Fire encircling the Pacific Ocean. However, one type of volcano is not included in the figures above. It's an underwater volcano. You might not be aware of these underwater volcanoes because they usually occur far away. That, however, does not make them any less deadly. In reality, the majority of volcanic activity occurs beneath the sea. Deep water volcanic activity accounts for 2/3 of all volcanic activity. So how does an underwater volcano form? Actually, there is no difference in the formation of submarine or underwater and subaerial or on land volcanoes. Underwater volcanoes also form when molten rock is produced in the second layer of the Earth's interior and makes its way through the crust. As Tamsin Mather, a volcanologist and professor of earth sciences at the University of Oxford puts it, most submarine volcanism is associated with the continuously active volcanism along mid-ocean ridges where two tectonic plates are pulling apart. The collision of two plates can also cause a volcano. If both tectonic plates are beneath the ocean, then the volcano will develop underwater, said Hello. Over time, they may grow to form volcanic islands, he added. A volcano can also emerge as a result of volcanic activity inside a single tectonic plate. This can occur when a hotspot sits beneath an oceanic plate, resulting in a chain of volcanic islands such as Hawaii. You're undoubtedly curious about what occurs when a volcano erupts underwater. The magnitude of an underwater volcanic eruption is proportional to its closeness to the water's surface. If the eruption occurs at extremely deep depths underwater, the weight of the surrounding water acts as a pressure cap. For example, if a piece of molten rock falls into the sea 2 kilometers or 1.24 miles below the surface, it will swiftly cool due to contact with cold seawater. The water will get quite hot, but it will not turn into vapor. If the water is shallow enough, the scenario changes. The magma begins to heat the water, which is subsequently turned to steam, resulting in a significant volume change. Steam explosions are extremely dangerous because a tiny volume of water develops into a massive volume of steam. Aside from the threat of tsunamis, the amount of ash thrown into the air when an underwater volcano erupts in shallow water can have major health consequences. The falling ash and produced gases not only damage the air, but they can also disrupt access to electricity and water. Submarine volcanoes are challenging to study since they are submerged. Only a few active sites have been thoroughly examined due to their inherent inaccessibility. Scientists operating on land, on the other hand, may learn about the history of a volcano by visiting the volcano and collecting data. This may be accomplished by the use of cliff sequences or by digging holes and gathering materials. Scientists often rely on marine surveys and mapping technologies such as sonar to study underwater volcanoes. There have been spectacular underwater volcanic eruptions, and we shall discuss their devastating consequences next. Let's have a look at the world's most powerful underwater volcano. The greatest active underwater eruption ever recorded in 2018 gave birth to a massive skyscraper-sized underwater volcano. The shocking part about the eruption is that scientists are still making discoveries about it. What did they discover? Scientists discovered the 2,690-foot, 820-meter tall volcano in the western Indian Ocean off the coast of Madagascar after a strange series of earthquakes rocked a normally seismically calm area. The team discovered that there was a new submerged volcano that was almost 1.5 times the height of New York's One World Trade Center after accumulating geological data, including information from an underwater survey of the area conducted in 2019. What's more, this new volcano draws from the deepest volcanic magma reservoir known to scientists. Lead researcher Nathalie Fouillet, a marine geoscientist at the University of Paris's Paris Institute of Earth Physics, IPGP, claims that the reservoir's source is extremely deep, about 34 miles or 55 kilometers below the ground. They were able to see such a large reservoir at the base of the lithosphere, the outer layer of the Earth, that comprises the upper mantle and crust for the first time in the history of volcanology. Mayotte, a tiny island and French territory between Madagascar and Mozambique, was shaken by more than 11,000 earthquakes that could be detected between May 2018 and May 2021. The strongest earthquake had a magnitude of 5.9, but there were also unusual seismic hums, sometimes known as very low frequency earthquakes, that began deep down and were detected by seismometers all around the world. These very low frequency earthquakes are associated with volcanic activity. Given that there have only been 2 earthquakes recorded close to Mayotte since 1972, and that the most recent volcanic eruption was at least 4,000 years ago, this dramatic seismic activity was unexpected. In July 2018, scientists were shocked when they discovered that Mayotte was shifting eastward at a rate of 7.8 inches or 20 centimeters per year, as measured by GPS data. Because the island only had 3 or 4 GPS stations at the time, scientists deployed global navigation satellite systems and ocean bottom seismometers around the island to learn more about the geological processes taking place there. The results were astounding. Between February and May 2019, the combined land and ocean bottom seismometers detected 17,000 events. Fouillet and her colleagues embarked on a journey on board a research vessel to discover more about the underwater volcano. The crew was aware of a magmatic event east of Mayotte, but they didn't know if the magma stayed deep beneath the crust or erupted onto the seafloor. Fouillet claims that they set in place a protocol to examine the seismic signals recorded by the OBS, or ocean bottom seismometers. The researchers worked around the clock in shifts, and were able to precisely detect roughly 800 of the biggest earthquakes with magnitudes ranging from 3.5 to 4.9 in less than 2 weeks. These earthquakes were mostly detected in a location very near to the island, around 10 kilometers or 6 miles from the island's east shore, although they were deep, ranging between 20 and 50 kilometers or 12 to 31 miles. The volume of material ejected by this volcano is 30 to 1,000 times more than that of other reported deep-sea eruptions. It's more than 3 times the size of New Zealand's 2012 Havre eruption and 2.5 times the size of Iceland's 2014 Bardarbunga eruption, the country's largest eruption in the last 200 years. The team is keeping an eye out for future earthquakes and volcanic activity in the area. Let us know what you think about underwater volcanoes in the comments below.